Hi parents, welcome back. This is the second video I've done just for parents, and it's a follow-up to my last video where I said I would do a short video just on responsive strategies. So this is responding to anxiety and worry. The last video was all about proactive strategies you can use. But I think that we can accept that right now there's going to be some worry and anxiety present. So these are some strategies to respond to when anxiety is already there. So I hope you enjoy these tips on what you can do if your child is feeling worried, but I would also say that these are great tips for adults to use and model as well. The first thing I'm going to talk about is controlled breathing. So if you're feeling worried, your child is showing signs of worry, take a moment to practice controlled breathing. There are a lot of different strategies for how you can do this. And with kids, I like to practice the 5-finger breathing because it's a nice tool. You have your hand with you, and they learn about the pause in between the breaths. So when I teach them this, we go in through the nose and out through the mouth, and we continue with each finger. I have a whole video on this on my website and YouTube channel. But today, let's do even more simple. Let's do a count of 3 in through the nose and a count of 3 out through the mouth. So when you practice controlled breathing, try to do 2 to 3 breaths. This is a great thing to do when you feel your own worry or frustration building up, to stop and to say, I need to stop and take a few deep breaths, and to model doing that, or to say, let's practice doing them together. Kids can be really resistant if it's a directive that you need to take some deep breaths. So I would suggest modeling it a lot for them and then practicing together. Let's stop and take deep breaths together. The next strategy is progressive muscle relaxation. This is a good thing to do before bed, especially if you feel tense. So progressive muscle relaxation is about releasing tension from your body. And in this exercise, adults and children, gradually tense your muscles and then release them. So that could be starting with your face, tensing the muscles in your face. Think about what that would feel like. Your shoulders, your arms, your hands, stomach, thighs, legs, all the way down to your feet. And then eventually you're tensing your whole body, holding it for a count of 3, and then slowly working through each part of the body and letting go, and imagining that tension just escaping out of the body. There are a lot of great mindfulness apps that will walk you through a guided meditation of what it looks like, sounds like, feels like to do progressive muscle relaxation. Also YouTube channels. I would recommend you check out Go Zen. It's a YouTube channel that has age-appropriate guides for progressive muscle relaxation. And kids tend to like this. And like I said, it's a great thing to practice before bed to help you relax and release that tension in your body. If you've looked at my website or your kids have, I've done a few grounding techniques. And that's the next strategy I want to talk about. So grounding techniques help us reorient ourselves to the present moment when anxiety and worry gets too big. So when you're ungrounded, your heart's racing, your thoughts are flying, and grounding techniques help bring you back to the present moment. You can see this. I have a video where I walk through doing this exact one, but it's pretty easy to remember, especially if you do it a few times. But it's when that anxiety is so big that things feel out of control, spiraling out of control. You want to help your child connect to the current environment here and now and escape sort of these potential future scenarios they're imagining. So getting back to the present moment by answering these questions, asking your child to say 5 things they see, 4 things they hear, 3 things they can touch, 2 things they smell, and 1 thing they taste. That's a good strategy for, I think, all of us, again, to practice. Another great strategy for all of us, and I've heard so many people engaging in creative tasks, but is to encourage creativity and embrace the arts right now. Specifically thinking about worry and anxiety, you might have your child personify their worry by imagining what it might look like if it were a person or a creature or a thing. So maybe it looks like a big dragon or a monster or an annoying mosquito. And then they can write a picture. Well, they can draw a picture about their anxiety or do a comic strip. And in the comic strip, one of these suggestions I've read about is to imagine themselves as a superhero who defeats the worry. There are a lot of kids' books on anxiety that represent worry that way. If you're interested in those, reach out to me and I'll recommend some to you. Using a journal or a feelings tracker is another great tool. Again, you don't have to write words. It can be all through pictures. Sometimes when worry feels so big, it can feel like it defines our whole day. But when we track our feelings throughout the day with a visual tool, it's easier to see that worries are a smaller part of a healthy balance of emotions. In school, one of the strategies I like to use is scaling techniques. So imagining different scenarios on a scale of 0 to 10. And it might be that 0 is the worst day ever and 10 is the best day ever. Where are you right now? 5 is just sort of in the middle. Maybe it's a 6. What would it look like if you were at a 7? Might be a follow-up question. On that same scale, but reversing the numbers, if we're talking about worry, 0 might be no worry. 10 might be the time you felt most worried and stressed out. So then we would say, where are you right now? Okay, I'm at a 6. Would you like to practice some deep breaths to see how you feel? Practice deep breathing. Where are you now? Maybe anxiety moved down a little, but not enough. So then we try another technique, maybe do a grounding technique, maybe draw, maybe hug it out. It's just sort of finding out, what does your child need in that moment to feel better? And a lot of times kids have those answers themselves. What do you think might help you feel better right now? Try to move that scale down. So I've said this before and I'll say it again, that right now anxiety and worry are completely normal, and I think it's a positive thing to acknowledge that worry instead of trying to ignore it, because there are healthy strategies to help manage that worry and prevent it from getting too big. If you want more information on anything I discussed today on these strategies, I would be happy to provide those. For example, specific recommendations for books or websites. I have printouts to help your child and your whole family practice doing the controlled breathing. Just reach out to me. I'm happy to be a support to you, to your child, to your family during this time. You can get in touch with me through my email. It's freemanc@gosaints.org. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll be back soon. A lot of the things I discussed today, I do go through in more detail in some of my other videos. So if you're curious about 5-finger breathing or the grounding technique,